Hello and welcome to Control Delete Tutorials. Today we're going to be looking at a pipeline from taking something that's animated in 3D Studio Max and bringing it into the Unity game engine. And I've got a couple of ways that I want to approach this. I was asked by somebody to make this, and so what they wanted to do was they wanted to have an airship that was kind of like in Final Fantasy game. Now obviously this is not Final Fantasy quality, but I was kind of basing it off of the first Final Fantasy airship. Obviously if these rotate right now they're going to collide into one another, so maybe I'll just change this one to start out 90 degrees there. But anyway, they were kind of asking how would I go about doing this, animating this and bringing this in so these would rotate. So the way we're going to start this is first, and I'm also going to assume that you know a little bit about animation in 3D Studio Max. I'll try to explain it the best I can as I go through. So first we're going to start off with parenting. So we're going to be parenting these propellers to our ship, I guess if we want to call it that. So I'm going to select those. I'm going to go to select and link, and I'm going to click and drag that to link that. So now if I select this ship or the hull of the ship or whatever this is called, and I move this around, those are automatically going to come with it. So that's part of it. The other thing is I'm going to just set my animation so that it'll be just 30 frames. So starting at frame 0 to frame 29, that'll give me 30 frames. So I'm going to turn on auto key. I'm going to select each of my propellers. I'm going to go to rotate, and I'm going to go to frame 29. So in order for this to rotate, I'm going to rotate this direction because of the way these are twisted. I'll have proper lift that way. So those are going to end up hitting. That's alright though. So I'm going to rotate this 360 degrees. Suppose if I wanted I could like mirror this one and rotate it the opposite direction, that way they're not hitting, but again it's fine for what we're doing here. So I've got two keys that are created here. If I hit play, we're going to see that they speed up and slow down, which is not very consistent. So that's not going to work. So I'm going to go into my curve editor, and I'm going to select the curve here. So I have my rotation. I'm really only worried about my Z rotation here. So I'm going to select my two keys. They're actually already selected, but I'm going to do a window selection, select both, and I'm going to set their tangent type to linear, which is going to give me a consistent motion. There's no ease in or ease out of the animation. I'm going to close that. I'll hit play again. Alright. Oh, actually it's only doing it for one. Let me select the other curves here. So I did that one. Didn't do this one yet. So I'll select those, linear, and the last one there. Alright, now if I play it. Okay, so those are kind of continuously moving. They're not moving very fast though. This is going to be one of the downfalls of animating something and bringing it into Unity, whereas you could put a simple rotation script, which I'm going to show you that way. But let's say I want this to play faster. I'm going to take all of these keys and I'll drag this to, let's say, 15. And let's change my time here. So the last frame is 15. So this will give me 16 frames of animation. I'll hit play. Alright, that's a little bit better. It's moving a little faster. I'm happy with that. It's good enough for what we're doing. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to save this. Save as airship. And I'm going to call this airship animated. And then number. Okay. So in order to get this into Unity, first what we have to do is go into Unity, and we have to make a new Unity package, or project. So I've done a new project, and I'm going to save it here under my Unity projects. I made a folder called Airship, and there are some packages in here that you can bring in that have some like nice little scripts and stuff already set up for you. For what I'm doing, I don't really need any of those right now, and if I do, I can always import them in later. So I'm just going to say create. Unity's going to restart, and it's going to give me a blank scene. So whenever Unity is started here, I get this assets folder. Currently there's nothing in this assets folder. So what I need to do is I'm going to create a folder inside of my assets folder. I'll call this 3D 3D assets. I'll create another one called textures. I'll create another one called materials, and create another one called animation clips. Okay, so I'm going to start with those. Alright, so what's nice about Unity is when I create these folders here, they're actually created on my computer as well under Unity projects. I have 2 Unity projects folders. Airship, assets, and there's all my folders. Okay, so I need to export from Max my 3D asset. So I'm going to end up exporting 2 types, one with animation, one without animation, just so you can see how those work differently. So first I'll start off with the one that is animated. So I'm going to select my objects here. I'm going to go to export, and I'll navigate to that folder. So those documents, Unity projects, Airship, assets, 3D assets, and I'll just type this in as Airship no anim for no animation. I'm going to save. Okay, so settings I'm going to use, I want to have smoothing groups turned on. I don't currently have any dummies as bones, but I leave that checked on in case I need that. No animation. So I can just minimize animation there. No cameras, no lights. I'm going to embed media. This means any materials or textures that I'm using, it's going to embed that information in and import it. I am going to keep my scale here. I'm working in centimeters. And my axis will have to be converted to up in order to bring this into Unity. So I'm going to say OK, and now that is exported. So I'm going to do a second one. So I'm going to go export, and this one will be called, I'll just do Airship anim, telling me that it has animation. I'm going to turn on animation. I'm going to bake animation in this case, which will set a keyframe for every frame basically. And so for this I've got my start, my end, which is 14, and how many steps. So I'm going to do 1 step for every frame. I don't have any skin. I'm going to leave that checked. That's not going to matter. And let's see, everything else is good. So I'm going to hit OK. So now I'm going to come back into Unity, and it's automatically going to import the stuff that I had put into those folders. So I'll wait for that to finish. So it's also bringing in this JPEG that I'm using for my textures. And so if I go in here, I can now see I have materials, and I've got wood and prop. So I had a propeller. I'm actually going to make that more white. And I've got this wood texture, and I'm going to make that white as well, just to make that nice and bright. But I've already got a materials folder, so I'm going to take both of these materials, I'm going to drag that into materials, and then I'm going to get rid of this materials folder. Yeah, I'm going to delete that. And then this has my textures in it. So I've got this wood one. It's duplicated in here. I don't need it in here twice. So I'm going to put this one into textures, and then I'm going to get rid of those folders. So I'll say delete. Wow, it really doesn't want to get rid of that materials folder. Try that again, delete. There we go. Okay, so I've got my assets in here. Now whenever I bring this in, I have my model information, which since I'm working in centimeters, that's going to give my scale factor there. But I've also got rig, which in this case is just going to be generic, and then I've got animations. So this is where my animations could be. So right now this one has animation. If I go to the one with no animation data is available, so I don't have to worry about that. If I go to the one with animation, first of all I want to import my animation, and it always brings in your animation, whatever you have. It'll bring in the entire thing as basically the start and the end here. But for this, I'm going to rename this, and I'm just going to call this is going to be the name of my animation, which will be important later for a script that I have to write. So I'm going to basically say, let's see, I'll just call my animation fly. Something very simple. And it is 0 to 14, so if I had multiple animations in here, I could hit the plus key and make a new animation from whatever time range, 0 to say 5, and I could name that almost fly. It is case sensitive, so you want to make sure that you pay attention to that when scripting. But I don't need this one, so I'm just going to get rid of that. So I have one called fly. It starts at 0, ends at 14. I'm going to tell it to loop. If I highlight over this, it says enable to make the animation plays through. That's weird. And then restart when the end is reached. So it's basically going to loop my animation. And that should be fine. I'll leave that as is. I'm going to say apply. And if I make this box here bigger, now this is rotated here just because of max, but if I hit play, I can see the animation playing there, which is good. So that should be it as far as setting up the different animations that are on here. So the next part is making a script that actually will play those animations. So I'm going to take my animated one, I'm going to bring it into 3ds Max. So that's there, or into my hierarchy. And I'm actually going to make this bigger. It's a little small here, so I'm going to change my scale factor. I'm just going to set that to 1. And then I'll say apply. Let me drag that back down. So there we go, a lot bigger. Okay, I'm just going to put it on textured. And right now, since it has animation when I brought it in, it's going to have this animator attached to it. Right now there's not a controller. The avatar is already set up for me, which is nice. So what I need to do is I need to actually have my animations in here for it to play. So I'm going to go to Component, Miscellaneous, Animation, and it's going to be looking for a clip. Now if I have this drop down, we can see that I've got fly in here. I don't know if this will mess up if I move it into animation clips. Let's go ahead and try that and see what happens. I like to try to stay organized, so that's why I'm doing that. Animation clips. Did it bring in the whole thing? Yeah, it did. Okay, we'll just put that back. That's weird. I didn't know it was going to move everything there. I can just get rid of animation clips out of there. It's fine. Alright, fly. So if I select back on here, it is looking for an animation clip. So I'm going to say fly. I'm going to say play automatically. I can have more animations if I have many different animations. So right now it's set to 0 extra animations, but I could say 3, and I could put in the different clips, and my script will be able to read from these different animations if I, so choose. But right now I've only got the one. Like I said, it's going to play automatically. So if I hit play, default clip could not be found in attached animation list. Oh, hold on. So let's go ahead and put one here. Maybe it's looking for another one. Okay. Chosen that one. What? Alright, let's see. Animation clip fly used by the animation component airship anim must be marked as legacy. Okay, that's fine. So based on the type of setup we have here, I'm going to come back and I'm going to select my airship. I'm going to go to rig. Under animation type, I'm going to set it to legacy and click apply. So let me make sure everything here is still set. I still have fly and wrap mode. I want it to loop, and the default wrap mode that I'm going to use is going to be loop here as well. I'll hit apply, and now there we go. So it's playing here. Let me bring my game window down here. So right now my camera is not set up to see the ship. Let me just fix that. Just move that over up a little bit. And I'm going to bring in a light. So I'll do game object. I'm using an older version of Unity just to make sure that everything's going to work here fine. Unity 5 is out, and everything that I'm doing here should function properly in both. Just in Unity 5 you're going to see that you have 3D assets, so just looks a little bit different for 4. So I'm going to bring in a directional light. Alright. Set up for, yeah, okay. I don't know why the shadows don't show up. Maybe it'll show up in the game view. Or maybe not. But basically it's flying. Now, the reason that I would prefer not to do this with animation is, well, let's say I want to speed it up. Well, I don't have any functions here for speed. I can write a script that will play the animation faster, but that's not really ideal for this type of action. So I'm going to leave that in there. I'm just going to uncheck here just to disable it, and I'm going to bring in my other airship with no animation. And let me go back to my other airship here and set its scale to 1. There we go. Okay, so now with this current one, I don't have any animation. I actually don't even need animator in this case, so I can remove that because it's not going to do anything. If I hit play, obviously nothing happens. So now I'm going to write a script that will allow me to actually create animation, sort of animation, programmatic animation, and then speed that up. So first I'm going to start with a new folder. Go to Assets, Create, Folder, Scripts. I'm going to be doing this in JavaScript, so I'm going to create a new JavaScript, and I'll call this just simply rotate object. Double click to open that up. So this is going to open up Unity's script editor called MonoDevelop. While that's opening, I want to take a look at, it's going to be in my way in a second. Yep, thanks. Okay. So I want to look at my objects here. For whatever reason, it's re-importing wood. I don't know why. So I've got my 3 propellers. So right now their rotation is set up that they would be rotating from what looks like the z-axis. So if I rotate this, we can see the z-axis is what's animating here. So I actually want these to move, yeah, in a positive direction, so that's good. So let's see. Right, so the script. So looking up scripting reference is nice and easy. Hey, I didn't steal that image. What? So the script that we want to use for rotation, all I did was simply did a Google search, Unity rotate. The nice thing about scripts is they're available all over the place. So the one that we're going to borrow from is basically got a variable set up for speed, which is going to be set at 10 frames, and the script will be written in function update, so that means that it will update every frame. It's going to change the transform. It's going to rotate or focus on the rotation part of transform, and vector 3 up means that if I click on this, vector 3 up is shorthand for writing 0, 1, 0. Well, my object's not actually rotating in the y direction, it's rotating in the z direction. So instead, I'm going to pick vector 3, that'll be a negative, so I want forward. So I want vector 3 forward. So that's what I'll be end up using there. And then the next part of the script simply says time.delta time. So that means it's going to rotate basically 10 every second, which that'll be kind of fast, so we'll have to see how that works. So I'm going to start with just copying everything here. And if you want the C# version, that's the C# version. If you're programming in Boo, I don't know who you are. You're a scary person. Which I didn't mean to make a pun about Boo and scary. But that's the C# one. So like I said, I'm going to be using the JavaScript one. So I'm going to replace everything here with that. I actually am going to have this start off with rotation of something smaller. Mine's going to be set to 3. Since it's a float, I'll just go ahead and put the decimal in there. And instead of up, I'm going to say forward. It's already there for me. So transform.rotate vector 3 forward multiplied by speed per second. So I will save that. I don't know what it was doing there. Okay, so I'm going to click save and come back into Unity. My script is going to update. I don't have any errors, so that makes me happy. Move the console back here. And simply just need to take this and place it on my propellers on each one. So if I select my ship, currently my ship doesn't have any scripts on it. If I go to my propeller, I can see I have my rotation script, and it's set to a speed of 3 because I made that variable available here. So now if I hit play, those propellers are moving really slow. Alright, so that number 3 is way too tiny. That's probably why they had in 10F. So I'm going to save that. Unity is automatically going to update with the new information, or it should. If not, I can always just simply, it's updated here, but sometimes on the actual objects here, if I've updated a variable, it won't update. So I can just simply just come in there and say reset, reset, and reset. So I'm going to hit play. Okay. So I need to make this quite a bit faster. So what's nice is I can easily change this, and I can do it while it's going, if I don't maximize on play. Okay, so I can come in here and I can say, okay, let's try 20. Which one do I have selected? Number 3. I think that's the one back there. Okay, that's not very fast. How about 50? Okay, it's going a little faster. How about 200? It's a little bit better. How about 500? It's a little bit better. 1,000? So this is what's nice. I can go in and update this. Now whenever I hit play again to stop, it's going to reset my values here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my default here to 1,000. And I'm going to say file, save. I'll come back into Unity. I'm going to reset my scripts here. I'll show you something else that's kind of cool that I can do. Okay, if I hit play, now they all play. But these two are colliding. So I'm going to take this one, and instead I'm going to say, you know what, move negative 1,000. And so now they're rotating basically against each other. So, and technically that wouldn't work because the way the prop is on there, it's twisted. But I'm not really so concerned with that. I mean, if I zoom in here, does it make any difference if that's? No, that's the same thing. You know what? I'll do the scale. Yeah, I'll just type that in at -1. There. Now it's flipped the other way. So we can see that that's actually functioning a little more properly. So that's what's nice about doing it with scripting. I can change all this stuff on the fly. I can even go in and change it to be based on player input, so that if I was controlling the ship and I was moving forward, the props would move faster to move forward. Excuse me, sorry. If I was taking this ship and I was trying to make it take off, I could have it ramp up to a certain speed rather than just have it, start off at whatever speed. But as you can see, that's how that works. Now if I turn the other one back on here, I'm going to move it off to the side. Take this one and move it over here. That looks alright. Alright, so we can see that they basically look the same. So the one in the back here is the one that I had animated, and the other one is the one that I've done programmatically. That'd be this one, the one that just blinked. But now I'm able to control this one a lot more than the one that's just animated. So I hope you liked this video. I hope you found it informative. If you guys want to see some more Unity tutorials, please leave me some comments on what you would like to see. I'm probably not going to be doing like long videos where I'm showing you how to create an entire game. I'm more looking at trying to tackle small things in Unity, how you might approach certain things. Those are more in line with what I want to do with the Unity videos, which I do plan on doing a lot more of those. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and all that stuff. Please share it with someone that you think might have an interest in game development or something like that. And basically, thanks for watching.